Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lucore Automotive. As you can see behind me and above me is my 1970 Pontiac LeMans 455, slightly warmed over. It is about ready to go to the dyno for its very first dyno runs, and time to pull the oils and the transmission fluid out of it. If you've paid attention recently, we did recently just have this transmission out. We just put a brand new torque converter in it after the other brand new torque converter had problems. So this fluid only has about 400 or 500 miles on it, so we're going to check and see. Hopefully it looks clean and okay. And the oil that's in it is the very first oil change after the break-in oil, so it's got about maybe 1,000 miles, maybe a little less than that, on that oil change. So we're going to pull the oil out. We're going to put a brand new belly full of 2050 Schaeffers in it. We're going to put a brand new 4 quarts of transmission fluid in the trans, and then we're going to hopefully get this thing on the dyno at CIA performance. Yay, yay, yay. But first, we got to do a couple of maintenance items. That's what I'm taking care of now. Stay tuned. As I said in the intro, this is a 455. Let me go ahead and repeat myself here a little bit in case you don't know this project already. This is a 1970 Pontiac LeMans. This is a 1972 455 block, 1976 6X heads. So it's all cast iron still, it's all Pontiac still. However, it does have new rods and new pistons because it is a 20 over motor. Ends up being about 461 cubic inches or so. And it has got a set of Flowtech long tube headers, pipes, exhaust pipes. Sounds really good, runs pretty healthy. We had this motor built a number of years ago back at Performance Research, and we've been pretty happy with it. It's got a dual plane, low rise intake manifold, nothing real crazy, very streetable, normal, cruiser kind of muscle car. It did make some pretty significant power. It made 440 horsepower, 415 foot-pounds of torque, depending on which way we ran it, whether or not we ran a carb spacer, whether we didn't run a carb spacer. When we ran a spacer, we lost a couple of foot-pounds of torque, but we picked up horsepower. If we ran it just on the intake manifold, we lost some horsepower on the top end, but we picked up some torque on the low end. So at the moment, it is running non-carb spacer, and we're really quite curious to see exactly what this thing actually makes on the dyno rollers. We know what it did on the dyno, on an engine dyno, but we want to put this thing on the rollers, see what it makes through the whole drivetrain with the accessories and everything attached to it. So we did have a little bit of an issue, as I mentioned again in the intro, about the motor just shutting down when the torque converter failed, and we're going to hopefully not find anything in the oil that looks like bearing material, because it was a rather violent shutdown when it shut down. So we're going to hopefully not see anything in there. We're going to get this oil out of here. We're going to get the trans pan off. We're going to make sure that there's nothing else in the trans pan, that it's all nice and red like it's supposed to be. Put that fluid back, or put brand new fluid back in the trans, and we're going to get this thing going. So hopefully this is a quick and easy and non-stressful episode. I am also going to catch some of this oil on as it first comes out. That way I can see exactly what's going on the bottom of the oil pan. And hopefully, again, not see anything. Looks like black coffee to me. Smells good. Doesn't smell too fuely. Cheers. No, not doing that. I'm not that dumb. Looking at the drain plug. Looks good and clean. No chunks of anything coming off. Let me see if I can give you guys a view at the oil, just in case you care. All right, there's our oil. Give her a little mixy. And I don't see anything at all. I don't see anything at all swirling around. Which is very good news. Very good news. Whew. God, that makes me feel better. Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. No sparkly stuff in the oil, that's a good sign. So let this finish draining. I'm gonna go grab some quarts of 2050 Schaeffers, put my drain plug back in, get the oil back in this thing. So I at least have that part done. If you guys are interested, if you haven't already watched it, there's a whole playlist, I don't even know how many videos it is now, of this 1970 Pontiac LeMans. It's on here. So the entire engine pullout, engine breakdown, the run it on the dyno originally versus after we went through all the machining and reassembly and all that stuff, all that process, I have no idea how many videos it is, but it's all on this playlist. If you're interested, go give it a watch. Let's see if I can get a filter wrench in here and actually move it. Oh, I hate working on Pontiacs with headers. There we go. All right. Good Lord. Sometimes the easiest things. And yes, this is going to make a mess all over my beautiful shiny headers. So I'm going to put a rag over top of it as best I can. But it's still going to make a mess all over my beautiful shiny headers. I do love the performance gain and the sound gain of going to a set of long tubes, but man, is it a pain in the ass. I mentioned Schaeffer's 2050 racing oil. Racing oil. Extra zinc. Pay attention, hot rod guys. Most of the oil you pick up in the parts store isn't good for an old motor. Well, that's depending on what kind of camshaft you have. We always build these cars with flat tappet camshaft. Old school stuff, old school muscle, old school camshaft. So this is a flat tappet camshaft from Comp Cams, and it needs the extra zinc that you're gonna find in a racing oil. Now, we don't get paid by these guys. We pay for all this stuff. We don't get any kind of discount whatsoever through Schaeffer's. We just believe in the product. So Schaeffer's is what goes in this thing, and it's gonna keep this thing okay. And I'm not gonna try the long pour from Finnegan. Not my kind of style. I'm gonna use a funnel. Should probably have gotten a bigger funnel. This is going to take a minute. I'll be back with you in a moment. Oh yeah, whoops. Always got to have your fingers in the right spot. Not covering over the brand name. All right, so there you go. Oil capacity is factory. It's got a factory Pontiac oil pan on it, so nothing crazy there. Belly full of Schaeffers. So we'll put our breather back on, fire it up, make sure we got oil pressure. I'll show you my extremely professionally installed oil pressure gauge. And once we know we got oil pressure, then we're going to check and make sure that our transmission flow doesn't look terrible, which is one I'm really worried about. Not a single drop spilt. Go me. But Austin, how am I going to see your oil pressure gauge when I'm outside the car? Oil pressure gauge is right here. PSI when cold. I like it. Woo! Sounds good. right, we're good. God, I love how that car sounds. Step 1 complete. I'm gonna take my hoodie off before I end up with transmission fluid all over myself, because this never goes according to plan. Get this thing up in the air. Anybody have that friend that no matter when they work on cars or how they work on cars or how prepared they are to work on cars, they end up filthy? I'm that guy. I'm that friend. Fluid looks good. Fluid's nice and red. Thank God, because it was silver when we pulled it out of the transmission before. Still don't have any word back from my torque converter guys on what happened to my old converter. I'll follow up with them and attach that to the end of this video to let us all know exactly what they found. It's still got a little bit of silver in it. That's why I spilled it on the ground, that way I could see if there's anything in it. Let's get some rags. I actually did another video with this stuff, super clean floor absorbent. Probably none of you saw it because it was with a Pontiac Vibe GT, where we made a mess, as we always do. Really impressed with this stuff. For those of us who normally use a like a clay-based, kitty litter-based floor absorbent, pretty good product. It's made out of like wood chip type stuff, and does a much better job of absorbing than that clay-based stuff does. And it comes in a much lighter bottle, so you don't have to buy it by the big bag. Got it in my pretty hair! So yes, there is some silver in this transmission fluid, which I guess is kind of to be expected given how much we had in there before. This is a brand new torque converter from the exact same company that we got the torque converter from last time. And I've got, I don't know, probably 300 miles on it so far, which seems to be working perfectly fine. The stall may be a little higher than what I want for a street car. It's a 25 to 2700 RPM stall, and it's a little annoying for a street car. I may have them adjust the one that I actually sent back to them to get checked out and torn apart, and have them adjust that down a little bit. It's just a little too, I don't know, aggressive, I guess, for a street car that you're actually going to drive as a street car versus something that you're going to be primarily driving at the track. So otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it so far, and that's not nearly as bad as it was. Now, granted, the other converter had basically come apart, so that's going to look a little worse, but so far so good. So I'm going to drop this thing back down, put transmission fluid back in it, fire it up, make sure that we're not leaking anywhere, and then we're done. Yay, basic maintenance on hot rods. Now, normally speaking, if I were to be dropping the pan, we'd probably be talking like 4 quarts. Since I just cracked the pan to be able to see what that fluid looked like, I think I probably only lost about a quart or so. Something I will say is the converter manufacturer who made this converter recommended running Type F. So Type F is what we're going to go with. Wasn't what I originally had put in the original converter, so maybe it was a fluid issue. I don't know the answer to that, but they want to see Type F in it, so Type F is what's going in it. First off, let's fire this thing up, see where we are fluid level wise. leaks on the stick. I'm gonna let everything get up to temperature and we'll get a little bit more precise. I'm gonna take it up in the air, make sure I don't have any leaks, pour money on the ground. I've done that before. It was very embarrassing and very expensive. I'll take you for a tour. Sounds good to me. No leaks. Pipes, 5-liter pipes sound good. Motor sounds good. Get her up to temperature, get some heat in this thing. Check her fluid level. All right, so brand new belly full of Schaeffer's 2050. Brand new 1.5 quarts of SDP Type F in the Turbo 350 transmission. And I think we're good to go for tomorrow's dyno. And to make things a little bit more interesting, we're also taking the Subaru with us that we're doing the Subaru hot rod build for. We're going to set down a baseline number on that car, which is a 2.5 single overhead cam, 4-cylinder, manual transmission. And we're going to see what that thing makes in stock form. My guess, somewhere in the 135 horsepower range. This thing, I don't know. We'll see. Without the spacer on it, it made like 425 horsepower and 515 foot-pounds of torque, which is the way it's running now. So, I don't know. Turbo 350 and a Pontiac 10 bolt in the back. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, time for me to take this thing on a test drive, make sure it's all good to go. Otherwise, there's going to be another video clip after this, possibly with Rich coming to get me in the morning after I left the car on the side of the road. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. This is going to be just a short little video. The next thing you're going to see of this car and with the Subaru are going to be dyno time. We're going to go be there tomorrow. I don't know whether or not I can get that video edited and ready to go for this week, or if it'll be first thing next week, because I leave on the road trip with my friends Paul and Phil on Wednesday, which you should be watching this today. So I am actually going to be out in St. Louis today. If you're interested, you can find us on Instagram. I'll probably be posting along the way with Instagram. I am going to be filming some of that trip. We'll see what I film, what I put up, whether or not it actually ends up being anything we'll do. I don't know. We'll see. But booze, barbecue, blues across St. Louis, Memphis, Nashville, Louisville. Should be a pretty fun guys trip. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Just a little bit of basic hot rod maintenance here. Nothing real exciting. Nothing real sexy. Maybe some sexy sounds. But click on the subscribe button. As I said, this entire build with this car is all on here. There's a whole playlist for it. And this car is definitely going to get a lot more fun this year now that it's actually running and driving. So click on the like button. You made it this far. Drop me a comment in the comment section below. What do you like about the car? What are you interested in? What do you want to see us do next? We got all kinds of cool stuff around here. What project do you want to ask about that I haven't shown you lately? AKA Project Baby, the 1967 Impala 4-door that's sitting in the backyard and hasn't been touched in 2 years. Or the 1964 Volvo 122S B18 that's sitting over yonder that hasn't been touched in a very long time. Or if you want to know more about the Capri stuff, drop it in the comments. Let me know. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Hi-ho, hi-ho, off to the dyno. I go. See you later. Bye-bye.